Okay, and welcome back to Continue Freedom. If this is your first time here, welcome aboard. If you're a returning guest, I want to thank you so much because you all are the ones that are helping us on our road to 10,000. I truly, truly appreciate it. So I want to talk about something today. This is going to be a very quick video, but it's really something, kind of an epiphany, I guess. And it's really focused around the rage vote. The rage vote has been such a significant part of the Democrat Party, and it has been for a decade now. Nearly a decade. For nearly a decade, they have been focused on getting people to come out and vote for them simply out of anger, not out of actual policy. Let's listen to this. This is just a recap from comparing 2016 to 2024.
Of the negative, dark, divisive, dangerous vision and behavior of people who support Donald Trump. It's time for us to say no. We are not going backwards. We're for the next 7 days. We focus on what's important. Don't get distracted. Don't get diverted. Focus on the kind of country and world that we.
Okay, so this has been the norm, right? We've all been seeing this for the past since 2016, and yet it's been largely unchanged, and the policies are getting worse for the American people. But they are continuing to focus in on the rage simply because that's a more basic instinct. It's very easy to manipulate people based on anger. But here's the thing: they have fabricated, and there's evidence. More and more evidence comes out all the time, and I think we know it. But there's evidence that this is fabricated. Donald Trump, we've been told, is the second coming of Hitler, of Mussolini. That he's an existential threat to our democracy, right? Yet when at the Al Smith dinner, why in the world would Chuck Schumer sit down with the second coming of Adolf Hitler and have a cordial conversation, by the way, smiling, jovial, obviously not confrontational. He's smiling there. He's like, oh, yeah, Donnie. Hey, Chuck, you're going awful hard in there. You were calling me Hitler last week. And he's like, yeah, you see, that's really how we're just trying to manipulate our base. And that's what we do. We call you Hitler, and it's fine, Just, it's politics, Don.
Ladies and gentlemen, our program is about...
Yeah, there you go. We're buddies. We're still buddies. This is the manipulation. They're playing on our baser instincts for votes, for power, and they're hoping that we won't actually do the research, that the American people won't actually do the research on their policies. If you want to talk about the unrealized tax or the tax on unrealized gains, they say, oh, it's for $100 million or more in investments. They know that this will eventually make its way down to the housing market, which is where the vast majority of Americans hold any of their accumulated wealth, right? Our homes continue to build in price and value, and that's where we have wealth stored, is in our homes. Whether that's wise or not is a different story, but that's become the wealth generator for the American people. And when it gets its way down to the, all that money that you're making, you got to start paying your fair share. You all that bought your house for $250,000, and when that time comes that it's worth $850,000 or $1 million, the government's going to need their piece of that pie. But for now, we're just going to tell you that the person that is in the opposing party is the second coming of Adolf Hitler. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, we're going to have coffee with them. We're going to be kind to them. That's just politics. This is us ginning up those silly little people down there. That's what they're doing. And this just to kind of illuminate what they actually think. Just look at how they talk to people. Look at how they talk to voters, the Democrat Party, that is.
I'm going to sing it. Bum, bum, ba-da-dum. Hey, that's really good.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's try something different. That's 3 syllables, right?
Oh, is it 3 syllables?
I've got another word with 3 syllables.
Come on, class.
It's la. You want to try it?
Yeah, kids.
All right, let's go.
All you people with mortgages, jobs, 2 jobs, raising families. Oh, yeah, let's sing a ditty. We'll sing a ditty so that we can vote for Kamala, who's not the second coming of Hitler, who we were just having coffee with last night at the, Al Smith dinner, But no, listen to us. He's evil. He's bad. And if they can't win you over that way, then they'll just flat out lie. Complete fabrications, mischaracterizations.
Back in Michigan, and it's good to be back. And again, we have a situation where the former president is insulting the people of the state.
Oh,
this
yeah.
time saying that auto workers,
Because that's what Donald Trump does when
that
he's
they're
out on this
important
campaign
and
trail,
good
is
and
insulting
highly
the people he
skilled
wants
work could be
to vote
performed
for
by
him.
a child, which is just further evidence that Donald Trump comes from a place where he really does not appreciate or understand how most people in our country work very hard for all that they have.
You know, the guy who employs, I think he's 25,000 people work for all the Trump businesses. Yeah, he doesn't understand working people. This is coming from a woman, by the way, who's made her entire living, her entire life, all of her wealth has come from being in government. From flying on private planes to jobs at taxpayer expense to meals at taxpayer expense. She's never built anything. She's never created a job. She's never had to worry about payroll before. But she's going to try to tell you and me and everybody else out there that Donald Trump doesn't know because what? Donald Trump got some money from his dad? Donald Trump, let me explain something to you. Kids getting money from their parents, significant amounts, generally turns them into brats or drug addicts. Donald Trump took millions of dollars and turned it into a multi-billion-dollar real estate empire. This is the guy who was cheered every time he went inside a Yankee stadium, who's thrown the first pitch at more baseball games than you could possibly imagine. A guy who was giving his private plane to families to fly their sick kids all around the country. This is the guy who paid off the house of a guy who changed his flat tire. This is a guy who understands what it is to have a payroll, to have to employ people. He understands that this woman's plan to tax unrealized gains is going to absolutely destroy the American people because, you know, those $200,000 houses that are now worth $800,000, the government needs to get their piece of that little pie. They say, oh, it's for people making $100 million or more. So not to mention how that's going to kill capital investment. But mark my words, temporary or isolated government programs always spread like a virus. And it will spread into the American housing market. And eventually, you're going to say, oh, wow, I could sell my house that I bought for $250,000. I can sell it for $850,000. And the government says, yes, we know. And we need 25% tax, please. Mark my words, this will happen. But this is what this woman's trying to tell you, that oh, Donald Trump doesn't understand jobs. I do, the one who's never created one.
And that there is great dignity in their work. In addition, I've been hearing reports that his team at least is saying he's suffering from exhaustion. And that's apparently the excuse for why he's not doing interviews. And of course, he's not doing the CNN town hall. He refuses to do another debate. And, look.
Okay. This is the guy, by the way, Donald Trump, who has gone on more long-form podcasts than any president. Like, no president's ever done this. No presidential candidate has ever done this. He's been going on Theo Vaughn, on Impulsive. You name it, all the big podcasts. Went on PBD for like an hour and a half. Had lengthy, in-depth, detailed conversations. Kamala Harris couldn't make it through a 20-minute interview with Bret Baier without looking like an idiot. So, again, this is the deception. This is what they think of the American voter. This is what they think of the American people. They say, you know what? They're just emotional little creatures. We're going to gin up their emotion. We're going to get them to vote the way we want them to vote. If we can't get them that way, we'll just lie to them, completely mislead them, fabricate things out of thin air to say, all you got to do is vote against the second coming of Adolf Hitler. Meanwhile, they're going to have coffee with him. They're going to be jovial with him. They're going to be buddy-buddy with him. Don't be manipulated. That's all I'm saying. There are true existential threats to our democracy, to our republic, from a lot of different ways, from the deep state, from the intel world, from our lack of privacy, from to social media companies censoring the information that we're allowed to have, which is why everybody should be going on X, by the way, to our financials, our economic collapse that is looking more and more like it's going to happen sooner rather than later. We have a lot of threats to our country, but Donald Trump is not one of them. Donald Trump he's come the closest to anybody, as anybody, to fixing these problems. Kamala Harris has been at the helm when these problems have been exacerbated and made worse. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you all for listening to me. I truly appreciate it. Be sure to like, subscribe, leave comments below. And again, hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 10,000, and it's going to take your all's help. I appreciate it. God bless you. God bless America, and I'll see you all in the next one.